But I'm telling you, after Sons was over, shortly thereafter, a couple years later, there was a series called Bad Blood.
Yes, people love Bad Blood.
Yeah, it was a huge hit on Netflix and Rogers and City TV up in Canada. And to be called in on that and to be number one on the call sheet and to hire Anthony LaPaglia, who was a buddy of mine, and Paul Sorvino, these guys did it for a lot less money than they normally get, but the scripts were so unbelievable based on a true story. Anthony played Vito Rizzuto, a real crime boss, one of the biggest crime bosses in the world, let alone just Canada, from Montreal. So he's playing a real guy. I played a fictional guy, even though between you and me, now that it's over, he was based on a real guy who's he's still incarcerated, so we couldn't really talk about him too much. But
right.
We had to change his name, his ethnicity, the whole thing. But I'm telling you, to be number one on the call sheet, and then after it was over, to have the actors and the actresses and producers just come up and go, "Hey, man, way to go! You really did number one. You really did." And I did. I cared about everybody, and I did the best I could in making everything comfortable. But when it was time to work, we fucking work, man. There's no dipsy doodling. This is really serious stuff.
Do you stress? Do you get anxiety? Do you put pressure on yourself that is unnecessary? Do you fight through things? How do you deal with all that stuff? Or are you just Mr. Tough Guy?
Great question. That's a great question. I didn't know, but I'm full of anxiety. I mean, I have a shrink that I see once in a while, and he's amazing. He's in Pasadena, and he called me early in our sessions. He would call me King Kong. Like
Why?
King Kong. No, because I fucking bursted in the room. I'd never been to a shrink before in my life. And I burst into his room and said, "Do I pay you now? Do I pay you now? Where do I sit? How are you today?" He just kind of put his hand, had a small smile. I said, "Kim, you sit wherever you want, and we'll worry about the payment later." "No, you want it now in a check? A check? Like, no, really."
It's like a mafia guy. You want this now? We're going to keep this a secret?
Yeah, you want this now? We keep it straight? You and me? Does it go anywhere? Am I fucking being mic'd? No. So